Now, for years, Prince Harry worked with mental health charities alongside the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge to try and help people feel able to talk about their struggles. Last night, it was revealed the Duchess of Sussex struggled with her mental health during her time at Kensington Palace, with Meghan claiming she suffered suicidal thoughts. And despite all the work done by the younger royals in that area, she says she was told by the palace that she couldn't be helped. Let's talk more about this with James McVey, the mental health ambassador and a member of the group, the Vamps. James, hello to you.
Hi.
When you heard those claims by Meghan in the interview last night that she was at her lowest point and there was no help despite her reaching out, what was your reaction to it?
I just thought that it was desperately sad. And I think we always need to remember that regardless of one's background, mental health struggles should be taken extremely seriously.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, that Meghan said that she reached out and was told, well, you can't get help, because we know Prince Harry has spoken openly about his own struggles and his own search for help, that his own brother had urged him to seek help, to get counselling, to deal with the difficulties that he was enduring, and yet Meghan found no such support.
Absolutely. And I think, for decades, there's been an immense pressure on members of the royal family to maintain stiff upper lips. And I don't really feel that they've adopted sort of the necessary nuances around mental health and the discussion around mental health until recently. And yes, there was a charity set up by Prince William, which does incredible work. But I think that's great. But that's only going to really sort of cut through when the whole of the royal family institution adopts that mantra as well. So I would hope that the royal family would lead by example, and it doesn't seem to be happening at the moment, does it?
Well, I suppose there's the distinction there. You talk about the royal family and the institution, and it seems from what Meghan is saying that she sought help from the institution rather than from the family themselves. But we don't know. Of course, we're hearing one side. We haven't yet heard from Buckingham Palace about their version of what went on. But I wonder, in speaking about this, in vocalising how difficult things got for her, what impact does that have, somebody in Meghan's position to speak in these terms?
I think it's just been, an extremely difficult few years for them, and it struck me that she was at breaking point with that, and the fact that they moved out of the country. I mean, I don't blame them, but what I would say is I think it is inspirational to see, a woman with her success to be so vocal about mental health, and I just say it again that we need to recognize that everyone should be listened to and taken seriously when they're discussing mental health struggles. And there's been things in the media and on social media that have sort of been suggesting that maybe there's been lying around that. And I just think that's disgusting. We have to recognize the severity of when people communicate their mental health struggles, because look at the consequences. Any sort of high profile case where someone's, sort of like in having these mental health struggles, they never end well. And think of Caroline Flack that was trending on Twitter. That's just the prime example. And we have to do all we can to reduce tragedies like that occurring again.
You are also an anti-bullying campaigner, James, and I wonder what you think the palace needs to do now with the claims of bullying that have been made by some former palace aides.
Yeah, I mean, as is important with mental health discussions, I think allegations around bullying are equally as important and should be taken as seriously. I do think it's slightly interesting when you're comparing other controversies in the royal family that perhaps weren't looked into by the royal family. That I think that's disappointing. That perhaps there's been more focus on this when they maybe should have done it as well. But that doesn't underpin, as I said, that there are potentially victims of bullying. That should be looked into too. I just think that the royal family and the institution needs to move forward with these discussions and start evolving with the times, because it seems that a lot of people are kind of getting sick of them being slightly draconian with some of these protocols.
Yeah, I suppose many of us would have thought that that is what they've been doing with the Heads Together campaign, the younger royals, certainly. Are you talking about the wider family?
Yeah, absolutely. And as I said before, it's not going to work. You know, these charities are brilliant, but they will only work if the whole family and the wider institution does adopt that mantra as well. It's great doing those little things, but you know, the evidence is here today, isn't it? That there's clearly still some people that are struggling to get up to the times with it.
James McVey, thank you.
Thank you.